The neon-drenched canyons of Neo-Kyoto pulsed with a frenetic energy. Holographic geishas danced above steaming noodle stalls, their ethereal forms shimmering against the grimy chrome of the skyscrapers. Rain, perpetually laced with industrial pollutants, slicked the streets, reflecting the city's artificial glow in a kaleidoscope of corrupted beauty. I, Loki Jarson, found myself decidedly out of place. Shedding the raiment of a frost giant, a look that drew unwanted attention. My fall, literal and metaphorical, from the Bifrost had been unexpected. A misplaced prank, a grumpy Odin, and a malfunctioning teleportation device later. I was here. No magic, no Gungnir, just a frayed trench coat, a datapad crammed with stolen secrets, and a gnawing hunger for a decent mead. Synthetic sake simply wouldn't do. My current predicament involved a particularly thorny piece of data, the schematics for a neural interface chip that could rewrite memories. Powerful corporations and shadowy syndicates alike coveted it, and I, in my infinite wisdom, or perhaps boundless idiocy, had acquired it. I ducked into a dimly lit alleyway, the air thick with the smell of ozone and desperation. A figure emerged from the shadows, its form barely discernible against the flickering neon. My hand instinctively moved towards the completely non-magical taser hidden in my sleeve. "Looking for something, Kai?" The voice rasped, a familiar sneer lacing each syllable. Thor. Great, just what I needed. He looked different. Gone were the golden locks and the booming laughter. He was gaunt, his face scarred, his eyes haunted. He carried himself with the weariness of a soldier who had seen too much, fought too long. "Thor?" I asked, feigning surprise. "What brings the mighty god of thunder to this delightful metropolis? Besides, of course, my undeniable charm?" He ignored my sarcasm. "The schematics, I know you have them." His hand rested on the grip of a plasma pistol, a weapon far removed from the hammer he once wielded. The absence of Mjolnir was a painful echo of his former glory. "And why would I give them to you?" "Last I checked, we weren't exactly sharing brotherly hugs and exchanging pleasantries," I retorted. "Sibling rivalry, on a cosmic scale, one might say." "Because," Thor said, his voice low and urgent, "they're too dangerous for anyone to have, especially not the Yakuza clan currently tearing this city apart to get their hands on them." He paused, a flicker of something akin to desperation in his eyes. "They want to use it to erase the memories of anyone who opposes them. Imagine the chaos, Loki, the complete breakdown of order." He had a point, a chillingly valid one. The thought of such power in the hands of those thugs, it was even worse than Odin's lectures on responsibility. "Destroy them," he confirmed, his gaze unwavering. "But I need your help, Loki. I need your talents." An alliance with Thor. The irony was almost too delicious to resist, but the potential consequences of failing were even more appealing. "Fine," I said, a sardonic grin spreading across my face. "But I get to pick the mead and you owe me a favor. A big one." Our uneasy truce forged in the grime of Neo-Kyoto, we began our quest. Thor's brute strength and combat skills complemented my cunning and knowledge of the city's underbelly. We learned that the Yakuza were being funded by a shadowy corporation known as Kronos Technologies, a company rumored to be experimenting with time travel and memory manipulation. Their CEO, a ruthless woman named Dr. Eris Thorn, was the mastermind behind the plot to control Neo-Kyoto. Thor, despite his gruff exterior, showed flashes of the noble warrior I knew from Asgard. He protected the innocent, fought for justice, even in this corrupt and broken world. It was surprisingly admirable and irritating. Our investigation led us to a hidden research facility beneath the city, a labyrinth of sterile corridors and humming machinery. The air crackled with energy, the walls adorned with complex equations and diagrams. Here, Kronos Technologies was perfecting the memory-altering chip. We fought our way through layers of security, augmented guards and robotic sentinels falling before Thor's plasma pistol and my creative use of distractions and misdirection. We reached the central lab, where Dr. Thorn was overseeing the final stages of the project. She wore a pristine white lab coat, a stark contrast to the grimy surroundings. Around her, scientists scurried like lab rats, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. Thor, the fallen god, and Loki, the trickster. "What an unexpected pleasure," she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "I expected more resistance from such esteemed individuals." "We're here to stop you, Thorn," Thor growled, his hand tightening on his pistol. "This technology is too dangerous." "Dangerous?" she scoffed. "It's progress. The ability to shape reality, to control the past and the future." "I understand the potential for abuse," I countered, stepping forward, "and I know a power grab when I see one." "You always did have a knack for manipulation, Loki," she said, her gaze shifting to me. "Perhaps you'd like to join me. Together, we could reshape the world in our image." The offer was tempting: power, control, the chance to finally surpass Odin. But I had seen the devastation this technology could wreak. I had seen the hope in the eyes of the people Thor had protected. "I'll pass," I said, a genuine smile gracing my lips. A fierce battle ensued. Thor fought Thorn's augmented guards with brutal efficiency, while I engaged in a mental duel with the Doctor, hacking her systems, disrupting her defenses, playing her own game against her. Just as Thor was about to overpower Thorn, she activated the memory-altering chip, aiming it at him. I lunged forward, knocking him out of the way, taking the full force of the blast myself. My mind erupted in chaos. Memories flickered, fragmented, rearranged. I saw fragments of Asgard, of my childhood, of my betrayals and triumphs. I fought against the intrusion, my will clashing against the chip's programming. I delved into Thorn's memories, searching for a weakness, a flaw in her carefully constructed facade. I found it, a buried memory of her father, a brilliant scientist who had died in a tragic accident while working on a similar project. The guilt, the grief, the driving force behind her obsession. I projected the memory back at her, using the chip's own power against her. She recoiled, her eyes wide with horror, her carefully constructed composure crumbling. I, still reeling from the memory assault, ripped the chip from its socket, shattering it into a million pieces. The battle was over. Kronos Technologies was exposed, its operations shut down. The Yakuza crumbled, its leadership arrested. Neo Kyoto was safe. For now. Thor and I stood amidst the wreckage of the lab, the silence broken only by the hum of the damaged machinery. "Why, Loki?" Thor asked, his voice laced with confusion. "Why did you do it? Why did you save me?" I shrugged, trying to appear nonchalant. "It was purely self-preservation. You're a useful meat shield after all." He didn't believe me, of course. He knew there was more to it than that, but he didn't press the issue. "Thank you, Loki," he said, a genuine smile lighting up his face. I owe you one." "You already did," I said, remembering the favor I had demanded. "Remember that mead? Make it a double." We parted ways, Thor heading back to the streets of Neo Kyoto to help rebuild and restore order. I, on the other hand, had a date with a bottle of synthetic sake and a datapad full of secrets. But perhaps, just perhaps, I had found a purpose, a reason to stay. And maybe, just maybe, I had even made a friend, or at least an ally. In this strange and chaotic world, even a trickster god could use one of those. As I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The universe was a vast and unpredictable place, and my adventures in Neo Kyoto were far from over. Weeks later, sipping that, admittedly terrible sake in a dimly lit bar, I received a message. It was a simple file, encrypted and anonymous.